Hey guys, welcome back from Classic Work. I've had several requests out there for me to do a 90-degree pipe saddle. And originally I was going to do it in 6-inch, and I thought about 8-inch, and I got to looking around for pipe to do it with, and I didn't have any. So I decided to do it with 4-inch. The concept is still the same for everything. It's just bigger. It's going to take more time, more fitting time. But anyways, I'm going to show y'all how to cut a fish mouth on a 4-inch pipe. So let's get after it and let's get started. Alright, so the first thing that we've got to do is put a square line on this pipe right here. So to do that, use a tool known as a wraparound. This is a very, very common pipe fitting tool. But anyways, all you do is take wraparound, pull it tight, make sure it's square on the end here. Wrap it square and then just trace you a line all the way around the pipe. There you go. There's your square line. Now you should have done this before you done your square line, but it doesn't matter. Is you need to determine what size the pipe is. This pipe right here is 4-inch. So now that we've got our line down, we know the pipe's 4-inch, we can look it up and see what we're going to need to cut this saddle. So let's take a look at that. Okay, next thing that you're going to need is a pipe fitter's blue book. You can also get this on, I think, some form of PDF file, so you can look it up on your phone, but a real good book to have, recommend it. Anyways, we're going to turn to page 28 here for 9-degree saddles on standard pipe. Now what we said before was we have a 4-inch pipe, but this chart here, if you notice, it shows all different kinds of sizes. Okay, now if you look over here on the left, all these say risers. Now you normally always cut your riser first. That's usually the easiest thing to do. So that's known as your actual fish mouth. That's the part that's going to have the cope in it, is the riser. So we look over here, we want a 4-inch riser on a 4-inch pipe. If you notice this chart, it can show you all different kinds. So you can have a 4-inch riser on, say, a 12-inch pipe, horizontal pipe. It doesn't matter. It goes all the way to 24-inch, if you can tell. But anyways, let's focus on the 4 over here. If you notice, if you look all the way to the right here, number 1 is a 1/2 inch and number 2 is 1 1/4 inch. Well, what does that mean? You come up to this little chart right here and it shows you that it's the amount of cut that you're going to have on the pipe from your square line. Now I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'm going to show you how that actually works. One other thing that I want to point out is, if you notice at the bottom down here, they have 8ths and they have 16ths. 16ths are usually used on 12-inch pipe and bigger, so we're not going to fool with them. 8ths are used on 10-inch pipe and smaller, so that's what we're going to focus on and that's what we're going to use. So that being said, let's take a look and see how all this is going to be laid out. Okay, you may notice my line's a little different. I don't know how I got it unsquare, but I did. But anyways, had to start over. It ain't no big deal though. Anyways, next thing we need to do is make some form of pattern to mark out our quadrants on this pipe. Now, a lot of people out in the field, they use what's known as receipt tape. It's just like in a digital calculator. Personally, I like using this right here. This is sheetrock tape. All you got to do is just wrap it around the pipe. Leave yourself with a little extra. Wrap it around and tear it off a little long. Something like that. Anyways, wrap it around your square line here. You could also use this as a makeshift wraparound as well, if that's all you had. And give you a fairly square line. Anyways, get you something to mark it with. I know some knife people out there are going to hate me for this, but I know a guy that can sharpen it. Anyways, they'll just leave you with a little crimp right there. You can go back with a blade or scissors or whatever you got handy. Just go ahead and cut that line as straight as you can. Okay. So they should wrap around and meet up at the top. I didn't cut quite enough off, that's okay. Alright, once you've got that established, go ahead and fold your piece of paper. Now every time you fold it, you're going to double your section of layout lines. Make sure they're good and tight too. So, there's one fold. There is two. And then one more. So on eighths, you fold it 3 times. Now, if you were doing 16ths, you would fold it one more time. Okay, make sure all your corners are nice and crisp. Next thing, take your pair of scissors or whatever you've got and cut the corners off of this piece right here. Make them really small too. You don't want them real big. And try to make them all the same size. Okay, so you got like something that looks like that, and when you open it up, if you notice, if you count them all up, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and when these two wrap around and meet up at the top, that'll leave you 8. So there's your equal spacing for your quadrants. Now when you get done with that, you can save these little templates. So you can take your marker or whatever you've got and write on there 4-inch eighths. There you go. And that way you always have it. Keep them in your blue book and you'll use them all the time. But anyways, so what you do after you have these, or have this, just go ahead and wrap it around the pipe like you did before. Get it square on your line best you can. Alright, grab your soapstone and then go ahead and start marking in all of these little cutouts here. So I see a lot of people in the field, they'll kind of like color them in like this. That works okay, but to me they smudge sometimes, so it's better if you can to just put you a big arrow in there. And you'll do the same thing on both sides. So just go all the way around the pipe. And start marking them in. Now your top section up here where they meet, go ahead and put a big T on there some way that you know that that is top. Okay? So just go ahead and roll the pipe around and put in all your quadrants. When you're done with that, take you a straight edge of some kind and go in there and just scribe those 2 points in on every section that you did. So just put you a nice long line. Now you can, I've used this method too and it works great. You can instead of doing two arrows like that, you can just do one and just take you a piece of angle iron and put on top of that pipe and it will run itself parallel with the pipe. So real handy to do that as well. Alright, we made it all the way around the pipe. So now then, if you remember in the blue book, we had 2 numbers that we had. We had number 1, which was 1/2 inch, and then we had number 2, which was 1 1/4 inches. So what do we do with that now? Well, let's go ahead and number all of our quadrants here. So we're on top right here. This here will always be 0. So we got 0 right there. The next one we'll go is 1. Okay. Next one will be 2. Next one will be back 1 again. And then 180 degrees on the bottom will be 0. Same thing again. 1, 2, 1, and back to 0. Okay. And that's all you got to do for all your quadrant layout. Now, so we're going to start on the top. We're going to lay out the fish mouth now. So, on 0 you don't do anything. So on 1 we come out 1/2 inch. Okay. Number 2, 1.25 inches. Okay. On 1 we go back again. So back to 1/2 inch. Okay, 0, don't touch it, going back. Now, on miters you go to the opposite side of the line, but we're not doing a miter, so we're doing a cope. So we stay on the same side. So back to 1/2 inch. Back to 1.25 inches. And then back to 1/2 inch again. Okay? And there you go. That is all your layout lines. Now, here comes the tricky part. Take your wraparound again, and you're going to more or less curve that wraparound to connect all of your layout lines. So, now this is tricky. You really need some help to do this, but you can do it by yourself if you're good, which I don't claim to be good, but sometimes better be lucky than good. Okay. So just curve that wraparound, and you really need to go all the way to your line, but we got pretty close. Okay, come back this way, take the wraparound again. And you're just going to more or less just try to get them curves put in there more or less. That wasn't a very fluid line there, but it's close. And we can go all the way to right there. And ease our way back in. And there you go. If you can tell, that's it. This section right here is the part you'll cut out. All of this. And you want to leave this part. Well, really it doesn't matter. You could do it vice versa. But I'm choosing this part here because it's on the edge of our layout line, and that's normally what you're going to do. So, you can definitely see it. Okay, so grab your torch and let's get after it. Alright, get the torch lit. And cue inspirational music. anything to the fit. That's as soon as it fell off the ground, I waited for it to cool just a tiny bit and picked it up and put it up there. And it don't look too bad from this angle. Not bad at all. But I'm gonna show y'all something. Uh-oh, we got a gap. Now, don't let this alarm you. I know that looks like horrendous, but it's actually not that bad. What's happening is these edges of the sidewall, the pipe right here, that's what's hitting. So that's nothing. You can take care of that with a grinder, no problem. Plus, we've got to cut a hole in this this pipe here, our horizontal pipe. So that's going to help it sit down a little bit further. So I'm going to show y'all how to do that. Okay, to get you fit right on the pipe here, you're going to need 1 or 2 torpedo levels, and you're going to have to pull it over and get everything, you know, nice and plumb and level and true. But I don't think my vise is level on my welding table here, so we really can't do that. But what I'm going to show you instead is how to lay out and cut the hole that's going into this pipe. But yes, you do need to do that step. If you don't, that's going to be no es bueno. Okay, for laying out the underside right here, it's actually really easy. There's 2 ways that you can do it. You can either take a piece of paper and fit it to the end of the pipe, like the end of this pipe right here if it was square, and you could cut it out and you could lay it over this section right here and just trace around the pattern, the inside of it. But most of the time you ain't going to have a piece of paper on the job, so this is the easiest way. Just take your soapstone, once you done got it all level and true, go ahead and just run you a line all the way around your pipe here, your saddle. Now then, once you've got that, whatever wall thickness that you have, Schedule 40, Schedule 80, whatever it is, you need to compensate it inward. Okay, so you do not want to cut this hole right here. If you do, it's going to be, you ain't going to have enough meat there for your metal to weld to. So this is a Schedule 40 pipe. So actually, not sure what schedule this is. Thought it was 40. It looks mighty thick. But whatever the thickness is, it looks like 3/8. You'll just on the inside of your line, just trace a secondary line, and that's the line that you'll cut. There are other ways of doing this, a lot better ways than what I just did, but anyways, you'll cut to the inside of your line there, and of course you're going to have to shape it up with a grinder regardless. So that's pretty much how you do that. Alright, light the torch again. Cue inspirational music once again. Ta-da! I see that with glasses. Alright, and cue grinding scene. guys, I hope you enjoyed it and hope you got something out of it. Let me know if you want to see me weld this pipe. Now, it's been a long time since I've touched any pipe, but I can give you a good crash course more or less of what to do. Now, out there in the industry, it's very, very common for you to be tested on 12-inch pipe. Now, they'll let you tack it up in the upright position, but you'll have to weld it in the down position. So let me know if you want to see any of that done. And that deserves a whole video for itself. So let me know. Once again, guys, like this video, subscribe to me if you hadn't already. And once again, I will see y'all next time. Y'all take care from Classic Work.